Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank you, thank you, thank you.
When I made my video about how the right wing is entirely composed of frauds, except me, I did make mention of the women in our circles. I made mention of how there shouldn't be any of them. And I gave a few examples, of course, but still, something slipped my mind regarding that particular part of the problem with the right wing. And I didn't realize that I forgot to mention this problem until I got onto YouTube and I saw that Spoon was doing his podcast, his weekly podcast. And because I keep up to date with everyone and everything that I can, including my enemies, friends and enemies alike, I clicked on it. And I actually, for the first time in weeks, I actually watched it for a little while. I wasn't really paying attention to the visuals. I was just listening to it. And then I hear this voice. I hear this voice come on. And I'm like, who the hell is that? Oh, right. And then my mind was flooded with thoughts of like, this problem is so much worse than I explained in my video. Of course, I mean, you've seen the title and the thumbnail of this video, so you know who I'm talking about. I heard Amalgamite's voice. And you're probably thinking like, well, I already explained what's wrong with, women being part of the conversation when they shouldn't be. And yeah, if you want to oversimplify things to that extent, then you don't need to watch this video. But I feel the need to explain how this problem is so much worse than how I portrayed it in the original video. It's not just that men, right-wing men, supposedly right-wing men, are allowing women to have these platforms and giving them an audience. It's so much worse. Right-wing men are actively seeking women to be part of the conversation, actively inviting them to be part of the conversation, part of the debate, part of politics, the entire political sphere, going out of their way to make sure they are part of it. And I'm actually glad that I didn't mention this in the original video because I would only briefly touch on it, but I want to elaborate on it now. I think this deserves being elaborated on. And before I get to this explanation, I want to get something out of the way. I want to make something clear. A person's political stance, a person's stance on anything is completely contingent on how they live their life. Okay? That matters. You know why it matters? It's not just about being a hypocrite or not being a hypocrite. It's about if you want people to take you seriously, and more importantly, your message, if you want anything you have to say to be taken seriously, if you want it to stick, you have to live the life. You have to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. That's not good enough. Show, don't tell is the point here. And at risk of making it sound like all I think about all day and every day is the aristocratic utensil, I know it's going to come across that way as I explain this, but I want to make it abundantly clear. I hardly ever think about the guy. I don't follow him anymore. I only see him when, for some reason, his posts show up on my Twitter feed. I think it's because so many of the people I follow him, and so Twitter thinks that I want to see his posts because they like his posts. It's just a theory anyway. But for the most part, I don't think about this guy anymore because I think it's a waste of time to take him seriously. That being said, let me further explain why I don't take him seriously. He is the best example there is of this problem of right-wing men not living the life. Spoon doesn't just talk to these women. In fact, he doesn't just invite them onto his platform. He doesn't just make them part of the conversation. Women are damn near the only people he talks to, on at least regularly. He's on 2 podcasts that he co-hosts. One is Broken Crown. Who is the other co-host? A woman. And the other podcast, The Wang and the Whiteless. Who is his co-host? A woman. You know, it's one thing to be overtly thirsty all the time, but it's another thing entirely to basically be so vocal about how women need to shut the fuck up, but your actions say the complete opposite, that women need to talk most. Because by your actions, by your lifestyle, you are telling people that women should be talking more than men. And for what? For what reason do you do this? For what reason do you behave like this? Because you're thirsty. I think that's really what it comes down to. You're just thirsty. Despite everything you say about women, you just can't help yourself. So, begs the question, do you really even believe half the shit you say about women? I think the answer is no. And if the answer is no, then it begs the question, do you believe half the shit you say about anything? I personally think the answer is no. You believe so strongly in the white race and in monarchy and everything. Everything you say, you're so vehement about it, you're so vocal about it, and then everything you do is the opposite. You prefer to be useless to the movement, and you prefer to almost exclusively talk to women. Maybe it would be a lot kinder if I just accused you of being a fed or something, rather than calling you pathetic and weak. Which would you prefer? Which one would you prefer? Now, I'm saying this like I'm talking directly to him, but I don't think he follows my content anymore ever since I started being vocal about what I think of him. But even though I'm speaking as if I'm talking directly to him, I'm more talking in hypotheticals here. Like, hypothetically, someone who behaves like this, someone who does this, that's what I want the takeaway to be here. But regarding Amalgamite specifically, because this video is supposed to be about her. Spoon's just the one who inspired me to make this video about her. So I had to get that out of the way. But Amalgamite specifically, I want to use her as an example, but I also don't want you to think, you, the audience, I don't want you to think that I'm only talking about her. I'm just using her as an example. I'm making an example of her. Regarding the subject of women, the first rule of being a right-winger is you don't go out of your way to give them a voice, to give them a platform, to encourage them, to draw attention to themselves and take themselves seriously. You shouldn't take them seriously. And you want to know why? Because there's no such thing as a right-wing female influencer. There's no such thing. Because all right-wing women, if there even is a such thing, would understand one important thing. They're not a man. So they need to shut the fuck up. And if they want to make a difference in the world at large, they need to support a man, namely their husband. If they don't have a husband, look for one. You're a woman, it shouldn't be that difficult. Support the man that you believe in the most. That's what you would do if you're a right-wing woman. But you wouldn't go out of your way to have a voice yourself. You wouldn't go out of your way to try to influence people with your opinions. Because if you were really right-wing, truly, you would realize that your takes, your perspective, all of it, is inferior to that of a man's. And the thing about Amalgamite is, and I'm sure every other female quote-unquote right-wing influencer is this way, she often says she's a woman, she's stupid, don't listen to her. She says it all the time. But in case you haven't noticed, the entire right-wing sphere has this problem of not living what they preach. She says this all the time, and yet she's still growing her YouTube channel. Well, I mean, she has an account on every platform there is. She's trying to grow all of them. She's not stopping anytime soon, despite what she says about herself as a woman. Oh, I'm just a woman. I'm so stupid and stuff. But please keep listening to me. Please keep paying attention to me. Women will be women after all. So to the men that support this, to the men that make up the majority of Amalgamite's audience, what the fuck are you doing? Well, I'll tell you exactly what you're doing. You're being weak. You're being weak. That's all there is to this. You're being weak. And what is it about Amalgamite that makes you like her so much? I guarantee it's what I'm about to explain. 1, you think she's hot. I'm willing to bet money. I'll bet $100 that if we saw what Amalgamite really looks like in real life, she's not hot. I guarantee that. Because I think if there's one thing we all know about women, it's if they're hot, they know it. And if they know it, they don't try to hide it. She's a VTuber because she knows she's not hot. I guarantee it. But because she hides behind this avatar, because she hides behind this cartoon character with big tits and shows her cleavage at all times, and her midriff as well, because that is her character online, you weak men actually think that Amalgamite, the real person behind the avatar, looks at least on that level of attractiveness. And she reinforces this by sounding extra ditzy, extra childish if you ask me. That artificial, high-pitched voice, that's not authentic. So nothing about her is authentic. And yeah, that is typically a rule of the internet in general, but like I said, when a woman has something real that people will like her for, it's just not in women's nature to hide it. And she doesn't, and Amalgamite specifically, and I think this applies to every female right-wing YouTuber, or I should say VTuber, she doesn't hide it for, safety reasons or anything like that. She hides it because she knows it's fake. It's false. But she can play with you. She can toy with you because she can give off the appearance. I used to watch her channel, and this was back when I thought the right wing could afford to have women in our ranks. Like, I used to have this philosophy of, whatever helps, helps. Even if it comes from a woman, we should accept it because we need all the help we can get. I used to have this philosophy. And when I had this philosophy, I not only watched Amalgamite, but I even messaged her a few times. Back then I thought it's good for the right wing to get whatever help it can get. But then it occurred to me, 1, these women are actually detrimental to the movement. We still need all the help we can get. The left is still winning, but these women are not making it any better. They're making it worse. Not just the fact that they're there, but the fact that they're all fake. None of them are truly right-wing. They're women. They're taking advantage of an opportunity. But anyway, one of the things I found during the days that I was watching Amalgamite's content, one of the things I heard her say was, I used to be a bitch because I thought that's what guys like. But then I learned that guys like softness and, femininity, and so I changed how I treat men. She literally said, and if you guys want, because if you don't believe me, I will go out of my way and I will listen to hours upon hours of her content to find that clip, if you don't believe me. But I swear she said this. She has admitted that she changes what she does based on how much attention it will get her from men. All of it. From her quote-unquote right-wing points of view, to her voice, to her avatar, her entire internet presence. Every bit of it is to get attention. Every bit of it is for her own sake. Not one bit of it is real. I guarantee you she still has egalitarian beliefs deep down. I guarantee you she's not attractive in real life. I guarantee you she doesn't talk that way in real life. If she was truly right-wing, she wouldn't be single. If she was truly right-wing, and you know what? Maybe, for all I know, for all any of us know, maybe in real life she isn't single, and she just says that she is, because it makes guys think that they have a chance with her. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. For this particular instance, I'll assume she's not lying. She is single, but she's not exactly looking for a husband, is she? No, because all of you are her husband. You just don't get to have any of her for yourself, but you get to listen to her. You get to listen to her talk as if she likes you. You get to listen to her talk as if she says all the right things. She's a fantasy. She's a fetish. That voice is a fetish. Her avatar itself is a fetish. In the same league as furries. Hot chick, but she has those ears. She has like a dragon's tail or some shit. It's all fetish shit. If she wasn't trying to draw attention to herself, if she wasn't trying to play out a fantasy that she knows a lot of men have, she's like a whole list of fantasies wrapped up in one. If that wasn't her intention, she would simply be a commentator. And her avatar, if she even has one, would simply be like a girl, I don't know, sitting in a chair completely clothed. And it wouldn't move. It would just be a PNG. There would be no motion to it. She wouldn't try to make it any kind of fantasy at all. She would simply give her perspective on things and nothing more than that. That's not what she does. And she knows why she doesn't. She's playing you. All of you. Including you, Spoon. But you're all weak. Because everything she does, from the avatar to the way she talks, to the opinions that she gives, it all turns you on. And because it turns you on, and she says right-wing things, for those reasons, you think she should have a voice. She should be the exception because she is exceptional. All the men in her audience, which I would bet is the majority of her audience, the vast majority of her audience is men. I would bet more than anything. The men in her audience, you're all fucking weak and stupid. And you're part of the problem with the right wing. You keep allowing women to get to your head. You keep allowing women to manipulate you. I would bet the majority of the men in her audience, which is the majority of her audience, have very anti-feminist beliefs and perspectives. And yet, they give her the time of day. She's just another woman who found a way around it. You know why this is so detrimental to the right wing? Because what it really does to the psyche of right-wing men, or at least men who are trying to be right-wing, it makes them think women can get all the feminist shit. They can make their own money. They can be part of the political sphere. They can do all the feminist things if they just do it the right way. Especially if that right way is, as long as I'm turned on while she's doing it. In case you still don't get where I'm going with this, let me just spell it out for you very simply. She's making sure you all remain feminists. If that wasn't the case, you'd tell her to shut the fuck up. If that wasn't the case, none of this shit she's doing to manipulate you, to pay attention to her and give her money for nothing, none of it would work on you. But it does work on you, and you're hardly even ashamed of it. And Amalgamite, on the off chance, I think the chance that you'll ever see this video is astronomically thin, but on the off chance that you watch this video of mine, I want you to know, I'm not even telling you to stop what you're doing. This isn't a message for you. It's a message to your weak male audience. But as for you specifically, Amalgamite, on the off chance you're listening to this, you know what? I actually don't want you to stop. And here's why. I think you can be useful. I think you have been useful. Far more useful than people like Spoon. And here's how you've been useful. You have made it, you have provided a way you have provided a way for at least me and any man who's, not full of shit, who's not weak, and is paying attention. You've given me and men like me a way of finding out who's weak, who shouldn't be taken seriously. As long as you keep doing what you're doing, we, guys like me, have an easy way of finding out which men are even worth a damn. Because if they take you seriously, I know that I shouldn't take them seriously. I will know that they're full of shit. I won't even have to do any kind of investigating or anything like that. Simply knowing that they follow you unironically is like a shortcut. Oh, now I know this guy's full of shit. Good to know. So in that way, I actually encourage you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're not right-wing in the first place. I can't really accuse you of being a hypocrite because I think you know exactly what you're doing and your audience is too stupid to know any better. You're a feminist, you're going to keep doing what you're doing anyway, so I may as well find some usefulness from it. Be the temptation to keep men feminist, right-wing men. Be that temptation so that I can see who's too weak, who is too stupid, or who isn't serious to begin with. When the right wing starts to organize, when the right wing starts to actually be a serious force to be reckoned with, historically speaking, logically speaking, there can only be one woman who's allowed to speak publicly, and that is a designated queen figure. And I think as we start to organize, if that even ever happens, each faction, like say, for example, the Groypers are a faction. The Groypers can have their own designated queen, even if it's not Nick Fuentes' wife, if he ever gets a wife. They're allowed, each faction is allowed one queen figure. And even then, she's only allowed to speak in a limited capacity. If your movement is truly right-wing and it's meant to be taken seriously, this is what you'll do with your faction, with your personal organization, what you are part of. One designated queen. She only speaks publicly to like give encouragement or to just be a pretty face, like actual queens of old. A beautiful face and a beautiful voice to balance some of that out. But every other woman should shut the fuck up. No exception. You get one designated queen and then all the rest of them shut the fuck up. No broad allowed to speak. You're allowed to support your husband. In fact, it's required of you. Support your man. If you don't have a man, find a man. Support him from behind the scenes. Reinforce him. But your opinion as a woman, worthless. You are part of the weaker sex. You will never understand what it's like to be a man. You will never understand bravery. You will never understand courage. You will never understand any of the things that come naturally to men. A sense of honor, a sense of duty, a sense of, I'm doing this for the greater good. I am doing this for my people, not for myself, not for attention. Women will never understand this. That's why they need to shut the fuck up. There are no exceptional women. All women are still part of the weaker sex. They are still part of the weaker half of our species. Being weaker, there are things they will never understand. Some of these things, a lot of men today don't understand, but they at least can understand because they're men. They just need to learn it. Women will never learn as much as they need to know to be taken seriously. If you take them seriously, you are weak. You are weak and stupid and therefore worthless to the cause. You're a detriment to the cause. Amalgamite is playing you. She's toying with you and she's living off of it. She's living off of your weakness while she continues to either be single because all of you guys are her husband at the same time. You just don't get to have any of her personally and physically, or she's pretending to be single, playing you even more. But either way, she's not right-wing. She is not traditional. She has no intention of being traditional. That's what makes these women even worse than your average feminist. At least feminists who call themselves such, at least they're for real. At least they have true believer energy, and for that reason I respect them more than women like Amalgamite. They believe what they say. As retarded and detrimental to society as it is, they believe what they say. I respect that. Whereas women like Amalgamite pretend, and you believe it. Women like Amalgamite, they make their entire existence a lie. They don't believe what they really say because they don't live it at all. They benefit from pretending, and you're stupid enough to buy it. That makes them worse than feminists, in my eyes. Especially, they are making sure that there's still a bit of feminist in you too. You can have all the opinions in the world. You can say all the based things you can possibly imagine. But they're keeping you from living that life. They're keeping you from fully maturing as men because you're stupid enough to think they're the exception. And if there are any exceptions, well, then maybe feminism isn't so bad. That's what you're thinking deep down, even if you don't realize it. Grow your fucking balls back.